You only have two problems. Intrigued? Hi, I'm Jason Barlow, RMT, and it's my mission to help you transform your stress, tension, and pain into health, happiness, and vitality. Today, I wanted to talk to you about the two problems that we all have and how simple it becomes to identify these two problems, and most importantly, which one is the most important to actually take head on. So what are these two problems? In Buddhist philosophy, there are two problems identified. One is your outer problem, and the other is your inner problem. Quite simple, right? Outer problem, inner problem. So what are the outer problems? I think we can label our own, with our own story in life, of countless outer problems that we've had in the past, we have currently, and no doubts, no matter what we try to do, they just incessantly keep turning up in our life, right? Our outer problems include what we believe is our partner problems, our relationship problems, our work problems, our job problems, our money problems, our kid problems, our grandparents, our siblings. The list goes on. The car breaks down, the house burns down. These are all what we categorize as outer problems. Now, the interesting thing is these will never stop, right? We're all leading a life where we turn one corner and believe it or not, here come another three problems. And sometimes we're expecting them, very often we're not. They blindside us very often. And interestingly, a great quote is, adversity reveals a man or a woman to herself. It's Les Brown. So when these difficulties arise in our life, these outer problems, what is it that's coming out? What is it that's coming out at that time, right? Great sermon that was given once. The priest was describing how when we get squeezed in life, what is it that's coming out? If you squeeze lemons, you're going to get lemon juice. If you squeeze apples, you're going to get apple juice. What happens to you when you get squeezed in life by these outer problems that seem to just turn up out the blue, right? A big one that hit us all earlier this year, big outer problem was COVID-19. COVID-19. Read the news, social media. General conversations of people these days revolve around this big outer problem of COVID-19. Outer problems can be solved by tools and hands. Right now, there's some amazing technological advancements and medical advancements that are taking place to help to try to solve this outer problem of COVID-19. That is the case with all outer problems. You can solve them with tools and hands. So what about inner problems? What am I referring to when I talk about inner problems? See, inner problems are our real problem. Inner problems are the unpleasant feelings that are arising as a result of our reaction or response to the outer problems that continue to bombard us. Outer problem arises, we stub our toe in the morning on the corner desk. Inner problem arises, that was painful, I'm attached to my body, this is really painful and irritating, I'm now going to be late for work, and the list goes on. We create and generate and we dwell and exaggerate on this outer problem, stubbing our toe, and as a result, our inner problem starts to culminate. In some, it's quicker than others, and as a result, our mind moves away from this idea of peace and contentment and clarity and focus, and instead it becomes distracted, unpleasant feelings arise, and now we've got a real problem. See, here's the interesting thing. This is what you can learn to do to transform this. First and foremost, number one, you got to recognize the differences between an outer problem and an inner problem, right? Outer problems are fairly easy to identify. An inner problem is actually quite easy to identify too, once you understand that anytime your mind is deviating away from this happiness, feeling, and clarity, and peace, and contentment, right? And some of you might be going, well, I don't even have that. Well, then listen to this entire video and podcast in its fullest, and join me for more in the future as I probe into these Buddhist ideas and how they can help you to transform your stress, tension, and pain. Because anytime our mind is deviating from this idea of peace, contentment, happiness, our mind is distracted, our mind is deluded, and as a result, we now have a real problem. Our mind is disturbed, we're starting to get irritated, we're starting to get ticked off, we're triggered. It's a favorite one my teenage boys like to use. And as a result, now we start to create an outer problem for other people very commonly, right? So let's say an outer problem is somebody else, right? They're saying something that we don't like. They're doing something we don't appreciate. That is an outer problem that we perceive. Now, at that time, if we have unpleasant feelings arising, what's going to happen is now we have an inner problem. So we've gone from outer problem, now we've got an inner problem. And usually with the inner problem of anger, what do we want to do? We want to retaliate back towards that person or thing or situation. And as a result, now we have outer problems starting to trigger, inner problem actually generated, and now we go back with another outer problem for that other person by us getting so irritated and frustrated. So let's reflect through that in a different lens for a moment. Outer problem, somebody says something, does something that you don't appreciate and don't like. Inner problem, you identify that, that's a trigger. I'm starting to get a bit irritated by that. And if you learn to guide your mind to down another street, and that is a mind realizing that, this is an outer problem. This other person has said something, done something that I don't appreciate and don't like. How can I navigate this differently so that I can still say what I need to say, but I'll do it in a way that I don't actually get angry and frustrated and irritated and create an outer problem for this person? Because what happens if you throw oil on a fire, gasoline on a fire, it just erupts even more. And what we're trying to do with this, the end goal, is to mitigate and control our mind. Our mind, the most important thing. So you got to understand, from my experience as a massage therapist and a Buddhist meditator for almost 15, 18 years, there is a correlation between the mind and the body. And there is a manifestation of pain that arises directly due to these unpleasant feelings. If we can learn to control these unpleasant feelings, try it yourself. It's amazing what happens to our physical tension, headaches, migraines, shoulder tension, neck pain, back pain, hip pain, arm, the list goes on. If you're trying to reduce your stress, tension, and pain, I implore you to start head first by understanding the two problems: outer problem, person or situation or circumstance, and even we've got to identify too, body falls into that category too. You are not your body. I will come back on another series and talk more about that, but I just want you to have that idea in your mind. You are not your body. Say, I am not my body. I am not my body. I am an imputation upon this very body. My body and mind are two separate entities, and I can learn to distinguish between the two and learn to control either or and or both. Most importantly is learning to control the mind, because the mind will start to manifest physical pain if you're not learning to control that response to outer problems, right? Outer stresses. Hope that's a bit of interest to you today. I will be going deeper into this theme and topic. If you have any questions or comments, leave that on the notes below. And thank you for joining me today. I'll be back again tomorrow. If you've not had a chance, you can download my book, within which I talk more about these inner outer problems and learning to train the mind. You can do that by going to jasonbarlowrmt.com. From there, you can download a free digital edition of my book, The 15-Step Playbook for Pain Relief. If you'd rather have the paperback or Kindle edition, just go to Amazon in your respective country and just search up The 15-Step Playbook for Pain Relief by Jason Barlow, RMT. Thank you for joining me. And remember, it is your choice to lead a life of health, happiness, and vitality. Thank you.